So a few days ago, I was walking my dogs, and this is a bit of a ritual for me. It's almost like a meditation. It just relaxes me. And I get these new innovative ideas, which normally I would never have sitting at my desk. So anyway, I've got my two dogs with me, and one of them is a mixture of Pitbull, Staffie, and probably something else. And I got this dog actually as an adoption. The previous owners had wanted to put him down and they'd taken him to a vet. The vet called me, so I adopted him, even though I wasn't looking for another dog. So I also have a third dog. Now, the third dog is a German Shepherd. Now, at this exact moment when I'm walking my dogs, I see the German Shepherd out of the corner of my eye, and he's supposed to be waiting for me to return from my walk with the first two dogs, but somehow a link in his chain had come open, and this is the first time that this has ever happened. So when I saw him in the bushes nearby, I knew I had a problem. I never walk these dogs at the same time because they're both male alpha dogs, and if I'm nearby, they're especially aggressive towards one another. So straight away, I knew there was going to be a problem. My German Shepherd comes running towards me, and of course, my Pitbull Staffie dog does not like this. They start going at each other full force. It was vicious. There was blood, gnarling teeth, and just pure rage as each tried to kill each other. It lasted a couple minutes, but to me, it easily felt like 15 minutes or more, and I was trying to separate them. And in the end, someone was nearby and they helped grab one of the dogs, and I pulled the other one back. And the whole thing was terrible. Like, my dogs, to me, they're like my children. So I look at them like that, and when I see them fight, it bothered me for days after. The first thing I did was I went and brought a backup chain and link so that now they can never accidentally get free of the leash again. I learned that lesson the hard way. Now, here's why I'm telling you this random story about my dogs. In the midst of this fight, the dog's instincts kicked in. It was fight or flight, and both chose fight. So the only thing they wanted to do was make the other one stop permanently. In their mind, there was only one thought, and that was attack. And every one of us has some of that inside of us. If you put a person in a certain environment with enough pressure, enough stress, and you provoke them enough, it's like a pressure cooker boiling over. At some point, they're gonna snap and they're gonna wanna attack. And the main thing which separates humans from dogs and other animals is our brains have developed more advanced prefrontal lobes, where we consider the ramifications of our actions. There's logic, we can process our emotions, and much more. But there are parts of our brain which developed long before these prefrontal lobes, and these other parts take care of, among many other things, our more basic survival instincts. So, for example, let's say you're at work and you have a disagreement with a coworker, and then it soon deteriorates into a heated argument. And as frustration and anger start to take over, one of those older parts of the brain starts getting more involved. Now, it's called the amygdala. Now, we have two of these, and they're actually behind our eyes and the optical nerves. And they've been called before smoke detectors. That's what they're like. They are responsible for detecting fear and physically preparing our bodies for an emergency response. When we sense a threat, the amygdala sounds an alarm, releasing a bunch of chemicals in the body like stress hormones. Cortisol and adrenaline flood our system, preparing us to fight or run. Now, as the amygdala hijacks our brain, our breathing becomes more rapid, our neck and jaw tighten, we experience heat flushes, our muscles may begin to quiver. This is a highly efficient but prehistoric set of physiological responses. Now, one thing we are definitely not in this state is relaxed. The sensations we start to experience, they are there for one reason only, to get us to take action. Now, the big problem though is that the active amygdala immediately shuts down the neural pathway to our prefrontal cortex. Complex decision-making disappears. We lose the ability to see things from different perspectives. We know we're right and the other person is wrong. And this is when you say or you do things which usually you end up regretting later on. So many years ago, I had this work partnership go sour. Actually, I've had many of them go sour. And messages were sent in a reactionary, angry state, and very quickly, things escalated. Disagreements turned into threats. Threats turned into actions, which triggered more angry, reactionary actions. And all of this would go on to cost me and the other person a lot of time and a lot of money. And if I told you how much money, you probably wouldn't believe me, but believe me, it ended up being very expensive. Now, here's my point. In your career, in any workplace, if you're someone who's quick to anger, you need to be really careful to get out of that situation, calm down, and gather your thoughts before getting back involved in the situation. Learning to control your emotions, it's vital, because many of the biggest mistakes personally that I've made, they were the result of acting when in a state of anger. Now, on the flip side, as I got a little bit wiser, I got a little bit more experience, I was able to avoid many calamities by not responding in that state of the moment, and instead just going and doing something else, like walking my dogs or just going to the gym. And it's not just about avoiding conflicts or saying things you'll later regret. You do your very best work and you produce your very most innovative ideas when you're in a more relaxed and clear-minded state. So just keep those things in mind. The next time that things are heating up and you feel that amygdala taking over and everything's getting heated, take some time out, get back to a calmer state, and it will make a major difference to your career over the long term. You'll be able to avoid some very costly mistakes. So that's something to think about. Don't forget to subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.